after Iowa, you came back to the BAE in Canberra?
Yes. Fortunately, after I'd started at Iowa State, the Bureau of Agricultural Economics found a way to offer me a public service award that helped us diversify our diet away from staple grains and beans as graduate students, and to actually see a little bit more of the states and surrounding areas. At the end of our graduate studies, we had great vision of a grand tour of Europe, a couple of months travelling through Europe. I had kind of a tight end constraint. I had about 3 years of leave. And in the end, getting everything finished was harder than I expected, and that 6 weeks in Europe came down to 24 hours in Hawaii, because in those days the plane always stopped in Hawaii. Anyway, but I did actually get the dissertation done and the degree completed in the 3 years, which was always a great source of joy.
What work did you get involved in when you came back to the BAE after?
So at BAE, I started on the livestock marketing side. Pretty soon I found myself assistant director, for the livestock division. So that involved the meat and wool and cotton. Cotton oddly was in with wool, well, not so oddly really, and so there was a lot of responsibility for things like the agricultural outlook and policy work. Should, for instance, Australia eliminate the ban on the exports of merino genetic material? Really interesting questions. I also did quite a bit of policy work. I started getting involved in quantitative modelling, general equilibrium modelling of trade reform. I led a team that looked at that issue. How should the government proceed in I believe it was 1988. The Hawke government was looking at making across the board massive reductions in protection. The thing that really transformed the Australian economy away from a much more inward-looking economy to much more outward-looking. Very important reform, and that got me interested in these large-scale trade reforms and so on. Then I had the good fortune, Helen Hughes at Australian National University offered me an opportunity to come to the Australian National University for the National Centre of Development Studies and to work on some of the issues that were new to me but fascinating. So one of the first things I did there was to work on a project coordinated by Chris Findlay and Kim Anderson, looking at China's foreign exchange system. The particular focus of this was a project financed by the Australian Wool Corporation. The particular concern was that Chinese mills wanted to buy more wool, but they couldn't get the foreign exchange that they needed to do that. And of course, it turned out it was pretty clear why they couldn't get the foreign exchange. The renminbi was vastly overvalued, but it was rationed. So the only way you could get it was by paying a high price for it, a secondary market price for it. And so there was a shortage of foreign exchange that was rationing it out. And to show that, I developed a small general equilibrium model of the Chinese economy. There was information then that it was moving very fast to a market-oriented economy, and you had the data from a World Bank study that provided the basic input-output information that you needed. So that was fun. That was new, and I did quite a bit of teaching of grad students there,